Let me just pull up my notes. Okay, so it says here that we ended up at stage 5, paragraph page 334. 334. Okay, here we go. And our
Okay.
last head word was poor, newer type of lesson. Okay,
Okay.
so let's start with revision. Ready? Okay,
Okay.
first question. What's the best way to guard against becoming ill? What's the best way to guard against becoming ill? The best way
The
to
best
guard
way to
against
guard
becoming
against
ill
becoming
is
ill
to eat
is
healthy
to
food,
eat healthy
sleep
food,
well,
sleep
and
well,
do
and do
exercise.
exercise.
Where good must we be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street? Must we be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street? Yes, we must
Yes,
be
we
on
must
our
be
guard
on our guard
when we buy
when
something
we buy something
from a man selling
from a man
things in the
selling
street.
things in the street,
Why? Why? Because maybe
because
we won't
maybe
be
we
able
won't be
to
able
find him again
to find him
if
again
there's a problem
if there's problem
with the thing we bought.
with the thing with the board.
Very good. What's the opposite of on your guard? What's the opposite of on your guard? The opposite
The
of on
opposite
your guard
of on your guard
is off your guard.
is off your guard.
Very good. What's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? What's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? The best way
The
to
best way
calm somebody
to
down
calm somebody
when
down
he's very angry
when he's very angry
is to speak quietly
is to be is, is to speak quietly
and
and
pleasantly to him.
pleasantly to him.
Are we having calm weather at the moment? Are we having calm weather at the moment? Yes or no?
Yes,
We're
we have
having
we are having
calm weather at the moment.
calm weather at the moment.
Very good. What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be? What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be? The two ways
The two
of
ways
forming the
of
second
the
conditional
second
with the
conditional
verb to be
with the verb to
are
be
if I was
are if I
and
was
if I were.
and if I were.
Very good. If you were a millionaire, where would you live? If you were a millionaire, where would you live? If I were a
If I
millionaire,
were a millionaire,
I would live in.
I would live in the space
Why? Why? Because
because I wanna try to feel no gravity.
no gravity. Very good. If I were you, which language would I speak? If I were you, which language would I speak? If you were me,
If you were
you would
me,
speak English
you would speak English.
or Japanese.
Japanese.
Very good. The two, English and Japanese. Very good. If you were a queen, what would your husband be called? If you were a queen, what would your husband be called? If I were a
If I
queen,
were a queen,
my husband would
my
be
husband
called a
would be
king.
called a king.
Very good. If there wasn't a light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? If there wasn't a light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? No. If
No,
there wasn't
if
a
there
light
wasn't
in
a
this
light
room,
in this
we
room,
wouldn't be
we
able
wouldn't be
to
able
see well
to
when
see
it
well
got dark.
when it got
We
dark.
would see
We
badly.
would see badly.
If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? Yes. If
Yes,
there weren't
if there weren't
any food in the
any
world,
food in the
we
world,
would all die.
we would all die.
If you weren't you, who would you like to be? If you weren't you, who would you like to be? If I weren't
If
me,
I want to
I
be,
would like to be
I would like to be superhero
superhero. Why? Why? Because?
because they are strong.
Very good. Okay, next. Can we use the expression if I were you to give advice to somebody? Can we use the expression if I were you to give advice to somebody? Yes, we can
Yes,
use the
we can use
expression
the expression
if I were you
if I were
to
you
give advice
to
to somebody.
give advice somebody.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. If I were you,
If I were you,
I would eat
I
more
would eat
vegetables,
more vegetables,
or I wouldn't buy
or I
that
wouldn't
car
buy that car
if I were you.
if I were you.
Very good. Okay, next. What's the biggest problem in your life at the moment? What's the biggest problem in your life at the moment? The biggest problem
The biggest
in
problem
my life
in
at
my
the
life
moment
at
is
the moment is learning English.
very good. Give me an advice. Give me some advice, please. If I were you,
If I were
I
you,
would
I would study hard.
study hard. Very good. Okay, next. What's another opposite of the verb lose besides find? What's another opposite of the verb lose besides find? Another opposite
Another
of the
opposite
verb
of
lose
the verb lose
besides
beside
find
find
is
is
win.
win.
Very good. What are the three forms of win? What are the three forms of win? The three
The
forms
three
of win
forms of
are
win
win,
are
1-1.
win, one, one.
Does your country usually win at football? Does your country usually win at football? Yes or no?
No,
My country
my country
doesn't usually win
doesn't usually win
at football.
at
It
football.
usually
It
loses.
usually loses.
Do you do the lottery? Do you do the lottery? Yes or no?
No,
I don't do the
I
lottery.
don't do the lottery.
Have you ever won? Have you ever won? Yes or no?
No,
I've never won.
I've never won.
If you won £1 million, what would you do with it? If you won £1 million, what would you do with it? If I won
If I
a
won
million
a
pounds,
million pounds,
I would
I would I would get a new car.
a brand new car. Very good. Okay. Is this pen useless? Is this pen useless? No. That
No,
pen
the
isn't
pen
useless.
isn't useless.
It's useful.
It's useful.
What do we do with useless things? What do we do with useless things? We throw
We
useless
throw
things away.
useless things away.
What are the two most useful things you possess? What are the two most useful things you possess? The two most
The two most
useful things
useful
I
things
possess are
I possess are uh,
my
mobile
phone
phone
and
and
laptop.
computer.
Computer. Very good. Okay. Do you think that what you're learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Do you think what you're learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Yes, I think
Yes, I think
that what I'm
that what
learning
I'm
now
learning now
will be useful to
will
me
be useful to me
later on in life.
later on in life
Why? Why? Because it will
because
help me
it will help
get
me
work
get
and speak
work
to people
and speak to
from
people
other countries.
from other countries.
Very good. Okay, next. What's the contraction of I would? What's the contraction of I would? The contraction
The
of I
contraction
would
of I
is
would
I'd.
is I'd.
What are the contractions of you would, he would, she would? What are the contractions of you would, he would, and she would? The contraction
The
of
contraction
you would,
of you
he
would,
would, and she
he
would
would, and she would
are
are
you'd, he'd,
you'd,
and she'd.
he'd, and she'd.
Wait, if you went to the cinema this evening, which film would you see? If you went to the cinema this evening, which film would you see? If I went
If
to
I
the
went
cinema
to the
this evening,
cinema this evening,
I'd see.
I'd see Super Mario.
Very good. If I were you, which language would I speak? If I were you, which language would I speak? If you were me,
If you
you'd
were me,
speak
you'd
Japanese.
speak Japanese.
If a plant had no water, would it die? If a plant had no water, would it die? Yes. If a
Yes,
plant
if a
had no
plant
water,
had no water,
it'd die.
it'd die.
Very good. What's the construction of bookwood? What's the construction of bookwood? The construction
The
of
contraction
bookwood
of
is
bookwood
booked.
is booked.
What's the contraction of lessonwood? What's the contraction of lessonwood? The contraction
The
of
contraction
lessonwood
of
is
lessenwood
lesson.
is lessened.
What's the contraction of who would? What's the contraction of who would? The contraction
The
of who
contraction
would
of food
is would.
is food.
What's the contraction of what would? What's the contraction of what would? The contraction
The
of
contraction
what would
of what would
is what?
is what would.
What's the contraction of which would? What's the contraction of which would? The contraction
The
of which would
contraction of which would
is which.
is witched.
Well, if you were a queen, what would your husband be called? If you were a queen, what would your husband be called? If I were a
If I
queen,
were a queen,
my husband be
my
called
husband be
a
called
king.
a king.
If you lost your way in a large city, who do you ask? If you lost your way in a large city, who'd you ask? If I lost
If
my
I
way
lost my way
in a large city,
in a large
I'd
city,
ask a
I'd
policeman.
ask a policeman.
If today were Sunday, what would tomorrow be? If today were Sunday, what would tomorrow be? If today
If
were
today
Sunday,
were Sunday,
tomorrow'd be
tomorrow would
Monday.
be Monday.
Very good. When office workers are too busy to leave their desk for lunch, do they often just have a quick sandwich? When office workers are too busy to leave their desk for lunch, do they often just have a quick sandwich? Yes. When
Yes,
office
when
workers
office
are
workers
too busy
are too
to
busy
leave their desk
to leave the desk
for lunch,
for
they
lunch,
often
they often
just
they
have
often just have
a quick
a
sandwich.
quick sandwich.
What kind of things do we put in sandwiches? What kind of things do we put in sandwiches? We put meat,
We put meat,
cheese, egg,
cheese,
etc.
eggs,
in
etc.
sandwiches.
in sandwiches.
Greg, what's your biggest fault? What's your biggest fault? My biggest fault
My biggest
is
fault
that I.
is that I lost my wallet.
No, very good. Oh, no, very bad. Okay, very good. If your computer was faulty, would you know how to fix the fault? If your computer was faulty, would you know how to fix the fault? Yes or no?
Yes,
If my computer
if my
was faulty,
computer was
I'd
faulty,
know
I
how
I
to fix
know
the
how
fault.
to fix the fault.
Are your dictations usually faultless? Are your dictations usually faultless? No. My
No, my
dictations aren't
dictations
usually
aren't
faultless.
usually
They
faultless.
usually
They
contain
usually
mistakes.
contain its mistakes.
If a student makes a mistake in his dictation, is it usually his fault or the teacher's fault? If a student makes a mistake in his dictation, is it usually his fault or the teacher's fault? If a student
If a
makes a
student
mistake
makes a
in his
mistake in
dictation,
his dictation,
it's usually
it's
his
usually
fault,
his
but
fault,
it could
but it
sometimes
would
be
sometimes
the
be
teacher's
the
fault.
teacher's fault.
Very good. Okay, what can we say instead of okay? What can we say instead of okay? Instead of
Instead
okay,
of
we
K,
can say all
we
right.
can say all right.
Very good. Can we compare Michelangelo with Napoleon? Can we compare Michelangelo with Napoleon? No, we
No,
can't
we
compare
can't compare
Michelangelo
Michelangelo
with
and
Napoleon.
with Napoleon
Why not? Why not? Because they
because
were two
they were two
completely different
completely
kinds of
different
people
kinds of people
who did
who
different
did
things
different
from
things
each other.
from each other.
Very good. What must two people or things have if we want to make a comparison between them? What must two people or things have if we want to make a comparison between them? If we want
If we
to
want
make a
to make
comparison
a comparison
between two people
between two
or
people
things,
or
they
things,
must have
they
something
must
in
have
common.
something in common.
Very good. What do we use ice for? What do we use ice for? We use ice
We use
for
ice
putting in
for
drinks
putting in
to
drinks
cool them,
to cool them,
etc.
etc.
Very good. What am I doing? What am I doing? You're pouring
You are
some
pouring
water
some water
from a bottle
from a bottle
into a glass.
into a glass.
Very good. And that's the end of our revision. Let's have
Okay,
new work. Very good. Okay, repeat. Unite.
unite.
Very good. Okay, listen. Unite is a verb. It means to become one or to join together as a group. For example, during World War II, countries were divided. Today, most countries are united. Let's practice. Do you think that all the countries of the world will unite one day? Do you think that all the countries of the world will unite one day? Yes or no?
No,
I don't think
I don't think
that all the
that all
countries
the
of the
countries
world
of the
will
world
unite one day.
will unite one day.
Very good. Next, repeat. Even.
Even
Surprising.
surprising.
Very good. Okay, listen. Even is an adverb. The word even can have similar meaning too also, but we can use it when the next piece of information is surprising. Surprising is an adjective. It means unusual or unexpected. For example, it surprises me if somebody from another country speaks my language well. She speaks Russian, German, French, or even Chinese. Let's practice. Give me a sentence with the word even in it. Give me a sentence with the word even in it, please. She speaks Russian,
She speaks Russian,
German,
German,
French, or even
French, or
Chinese.
even
He
Chinese.
was very impolite.
She was very
He
impolite.
didn't even say hello.
He didn't even say hello.
It's very simple.
It's very simple.
It's even a child
It's even a child
could understand it.
to understand it.
Very good. Next, repeat mix,
Mix,
mixture,
mixture,
pink.
pink.
Very good. Okay, listen. Mix is a verb. It means to add together or combine, to mix. For example, I add milk and sugar to my coffee. Or we can say, I mix milk and sugar to my coffee. Mixture is a noun. For example, a mixture of tea and coffee would make an unpleasant drink. Pink is an adjective. It's pale red. For example, if I mix some red and white paint together, I get pink paint. Let's practice. Do we generally mix sugar with potatoes? Do we generally mix sugar with potatoes? No, we
No,
don't
we
generally
don't generally
mix sugar
mix
with
sugar with
potatoes.
potato.
Very good. Do you think a mixture of tea and coffee would make a pleasant drink? Do you think a mixture of tea and coffee would make a pleasant drink? No, I
No,
don't think
I don't
a
think
mixture
a
of tea
mixture
and
of
coffee
tea and
would
coffee
make a
would
pleasant
make
drink.
a pleasant drink.
I think it would
I think
make
it would think
an unpleasant
an unpleasant
drink. Very
unpleasant
good.
drink.
If you mix some red and white paint together, what would you get? If you mix some red and white paint together, what would you get? If I mix
If I mix
some red
some
and
red
white
and
paint together,
white paint together,
I'd get pink paint.
I'd get pink paint.
Very good. Next, repeat care,
Pair,
care for,
careful,
take care of.
be careful,
Very
take
good.
care of.
Very good. Let's listen. Care is a verb. It means to worry. For example, I don't care what people think or say about me. Care for is a phrasal verb. It means to protect someone or something and provide the things they need. For example, my mother cared for me when I was a child. Take care of is also a phrasal verb. It means to look after or protect something or someone. For example, I go to bed early, eat fruits and vegetables, exercise my body in the open, don't smoke, don't drink alcohol, etc. I take good care of my health. Let's practice. Who cared for you when you were a child? Who cared for you when you were a child? My mother
My mother
cared for me
took care for me
when I was a
when
child.
I was a child.
Very good. Okay, do you think the young should take care of the old? Do you think the young should take care of the old? Yes, I
Yes,
think the
I
young
think the young
should take care
should take care
of the old.
of the old.
Very good. Do you take good care of your health? Do you take good care of your health? Yes or no?
Yes,
I take
I
good
think
care
I take good
of
care
my
of
health.
my health.
Very good. Do you care what people think or say about you? Do you care what people think or say about you? Yes or no?
Uh, yes,
I I care
I, I
what
care
people think
what people think
or say about
or
me.
say about me.
Very good. Next, repeat. Appointment.
Appointment.
Keep an appointment.
Keep an appointment.
Hurry.
Hurry.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Very good. Okay, listen. Appointment is a noun. It means a formal arrangement to meet or visit someone at a particular time and place. For example, I have an appointment with my dentist tomorrow. Keep an appointment is a verb. It means to arrive to an appointment. For example, it's very important to keep appointments that we've made. Hurry is a verb. It means to do something or go somewhere more quickly than usual. For example, if we are late for a very important appointment, we'd hurry. It's sometimes a bad thing to hurry because we often make mistakes when we hurry. Take your time means to do something slowly or carefully without hurrying. It's the opposite of hurry. For example, I wouldn't take my time going home if somebody told me my house was on fire. I'd hurry. Okay, so let's practice. If you were late for a very important appointment, would you take your time? If you were late for a very important appointment, would you take your time? No. If I
No.
were late
If I were late
for a very
for a
important
very
appointment,
important
I
appointment,
wouldn't take
I
my time.
wouldn't take my
I'd
time.
hurry.
I'd hurry.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay.
Okay, so our reading is at stage 4, paragraph page 224. And our last
Therefore,
headword was neither nor. Okay, start with the second question. Are there 100
okay.
chairs?
Okay. Are there 100 chairs in this room or 1,000 chairs? No, there are there are neither 100 chairs in this room nor 1,000 chairs. There are three chairs in this room.
Very good.